Good morning, Hair Maiden India family. Coming to y'all today on this beautiful Tuesday morning from West Los Angeles. It is 9 a.m. over here. The shop is open. Last night we had our last appointment right around 9:30. Some really cool chicks from Texas actually came in to get some of our beautiful keratin tips as well as some tape-ins with the medical grade tape that we now use on them. So this morning I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I want to get really specific. We're going to talk about certain things. A couple of my friends, family, and supporters have told me that instead of just talking about everything, go ahead and lock in and get specific on certain niches, right? So, as we all know, hair extensions are in high demand these days, right? Some women will do anything to have a stunning hairstyle. After all, it's basically one of the things that help them feel attractive and noticed and change their looks. And the same thing for men as well, which is why we do men's pieces and toupees. Unfortunately, not everyone is born with just naturally healthy looking hair, or at least voluminous hair, or at least the hair kind of style that they want, right? Which is where hair extensions, wigs, keratin tips, tape ends all come into play. Now, a lot of people have a lot of misunderstandings on the terminology behind the hair. I've done this video a lot of times. I've talked about it a lot. In my humble opinion, all these words are made up. They are basically interchangeable. However, this is the way our society and this is the way our hair industry works. We talk about these things on a certain basis and with certain words, right? So basically, let me jump into it. We have Remy hair, right? Virgin hair. We have raw hair, and then we have human hair. So first of all, we make the big distinction: human hair and synthetic hair. Those are two totally different markets, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people in this industry won't tell you sometimes whether it's human or whether it's synthetic. Unfortunately, I do have one piece of synthetic hair in the shop, and I'll go grab it once I start talking about the hair, right? So I'm gonna have to take a quick pause to go grab it. I won't pause the live. I'll just go grab it real quickly. Anyway, so basically Remy hair, right? What the market calls Remy hair is basically just cuticle aligned hair. That means, and that's what the term Remy means to me as a distributor, as a manufacturer, as a hair business owner, right? Remy means that the cuticle is going to be aligned from root to tip. And what that basically means is that when you take a bundle, right, this is actually our raw hair, our for the purpose of this video, virgin hair. You're going to take a piece of the strand, right, and like a fish scale, when you pull back this way, you're going to feel in here a tiny bit of friction. I'm trying to put it up to the mic so maybe the other camera will pick it up. But when you go back down towards the fish scale and rub with the fish scale, you're not going to feel friction. You're going to feel smoothness. And each and every one of these strands needs to be made like that in order for the hair to actually not tangle, not mat up, and be a good quality bundle. Conversely, we have, in our company, we have what's called actual virgin hair. This is our virgin North Indian hair right here, right? And the biggest difference is with virgin hair, it's not chemically treated or processed ever in any way, right? So for the market, either one of these can be called virgin. We call this our raw hair. We call this our virgin hair. However, they are both raw and virgin hair, right? I'm not trying to get confused anybody, right? But I do have to explain this because the market has segmented people and confused people. And I mean, if you watch Facebook and social media, you understand that segmentation and confusion is very powerful for control, and when it comes to business, is very powerful to manipulate people into purchasing certain things and paying more for it, right? So I also want to show you guys a piece of what we call our Remy hair, right? So all this hair has been chemically steamed and processed right here, right? This is one bundle. We call this our steam natural wave. So you're not going to feel the cuticle tips as strong, right? But they're still there, right? We still have cuticle health in this hair because it is natural, it is human, it is Remy hair. However, this went through a 3-day steam process to be able to get this exact texture. Right? So it's really, really important to understand. Let me grab a piece of synthetic. So go ahead and laugh right now if you're laughing with me. Anyway, let me get back into the hair, right? So the biggest things you want to notice that when you're talking about for a real raw hair company, right? The virgin hair, you're going to see strands of henna in it. You see that redness? You're going to see a bit of redness, and that's just natural for raw Indian hair, right? For virgin Indian hair from the north of India. Now, differently, when it comes to the South Indian hair, you're not going to really see as much henna. This bundle actually has some beautiful light browns in it. You can see that on the camera. and it's much more raw. It's much more healthy. It's already bothering me. It's much more healthy hair, right? And that being said, so this is synthetic, right? This hair doesn't really require much. You need to wash it, condition it. You can do it with anything, and it'll be just fine. I've had this little wig in the shop for almost 8 years now. I've worn it at the beach for photo shoots, on a rooftop in LA for photo shoots, and everywhere else in between, right? So it's not really anything much you have to do. For the virgin hair, you need to treat it just like raw human hair because it is raw human hair, right? The Remy is where it's going to require almost the most maintenance, and it'll mat up easiest if you're not watching it. Buildup will happen because you have to think there's already chemicals on this hair and already stuff to make it basically get that texture. Now with hair made in India, we don't put chemicals on this, right? We use a 3-day safe steam process. However, 80% or more of the hair on the market you see out there, especially coming from China, this texture, you'll see the exact same texture that they have as well. It comes from chemicals. They don't use a steam process. It costs more and it takes longer. And you have to train your labor and staff to do it like that. But once again, let me just go back to the top level. This is raw Indian hair. You're going to know this by one, the cuticle test, right? You can do two, the burn test. You want to burn it. You don't want to see, you want to see it look like hair, right? Just the same smell, the same texture when you burn hair, not plasticky and kind of residuey. That is not what you're looking for if you burn just a strand. The cuticles are also really important to make sure they're aligned root to tip. You obviously can't test each piece, but you want to test most of your bundles going down like that, right? And the wefting, right? People think that sometimes they get bad hair and it's just all bad hair, but a lot of times, especially a lot of these middlemen in India and even Asia and different countries, even out here in the States, they don't take care of making sure that all of their labor knows how to weft hair properly, right? And if you're not wefting the hair properly,